Welcome back to John Madden Sales. We're here again with Cherry, our 3-year-old in training. Last video, we showed you how to get on and off and have the horse be comfortable with that. Today, I'm going to have Kendra sort of lunge me a little bit on her. This will be about our 3rd week in training. She looks a little damp right now because we just brought her back in from the field. Hopefully after today, I'll be able to put her out in the herd for a couple weeks, maybe a month, let her have a little bit of break. We like to do that with our young ones, bring them in and work them for a little bit and then let them have a long break, let them think about things. It makes them better mentally and more willing to work for us later. So it's really important for whoever is going to be the ground person to have the horse understanding them and their body language and their movements. So I have Kendra here working with Cherry from the ground as if I were sitting on her, but without me for the moment. Just making sure before I get on that the horse is understanding when she wants her to go forward and when she wants her to stop. So if anything happens when I'm on, they have a clear understanding of one another. So before I get on her, I'm just going to do a quick review of slamming on the saddle and just kind of making sure she's okay with everything. She's been good through this whole process, making sure that all the flapping is still okay with her. It is, isn't it? Yes. Making sure that I can pat behind the saddle. Do things from both sides. She seems good. So I've gotten on and off this horse quite a bit, but I'm still gonna take care when I get on her again. Just might not need to take as long. I'd like to make sure that she's gonna be okay with it. Now from here, Kendra's going to move the stool away. And before we start to move, I'm just going to make sure she's comfortable with me kind of moving around up here a little bit, touching her, patting her, maybe move my legs around. Anything that could potentially happen when we start moving, I want to be sure she's okay with when I'm standing here. Now, I think the most important part of this equation of being on this horse in motion is the handler. So make sure if you're going to do this, you have a handler that you trust. If anything happens to me up here, she really only understands what's going on from the handler's perspective. So Kendra's really doing most of the work. She doesn't really understand what rein pressure means right now. She doesn't really understand what leg pressure means, so I'm just an accessory. So it's really kind of up to Kendra now, but her and I need to communicate what I'm feeling, what she's feeling, and just go at the horse's pace. So the first stages of getting this horse to move, I'm just gonna ask for a couple steps from Kendra. She's going to be the one leading forward, and what I'm gonna do is cluck from up here. And the first couple times we do this, I'm not going to add any leg pressure. All I want her to do, she knows cluck means go forward. So I'm going to cluck and Kendra's going to lead forward. Good. Good. And then we'll stop again. I'm going to say whoa, whoa. Good. So what I'm trying to do is pair the voice commands that she knows, cluck and whoa. Cluck, go, whoa, slow, with me being on top of her and Kendra kind of leading her from the ground. So if I can give her the voice commands and Kendra leads her on from the ground, maybe she'll understand a little bit. As we go, I'm going to start to add a little leg pressure with the cluck, so maybe she can start pairing the cluck with leg pressure. But right now she doesn't understand any of that. So this has to be very basic. So we're going to try that again. I'm going to cluck, and Kendra's going to kind of ask her to go. And as she feels that I'm safe, which I feel no hump in the back or anything, as Kendra feels that I'm in a safe position, she's gonna start to let me out a little further on the lunge line, and she's just gonna make sure she's in a good position to send the horse forward or to pull the horse up if something happens. And we're gonna stop again. Hold. Good. Okay, now that we've established that she's okay with all of that, she's not trying to unload me, we're going to start to pair the cluck with a little leg pressure. Kendra's still going to be the key person here, really communicating with the horse from the ground, and I'm just trying to get the horse to associate what I'm doing with what she understands. So I'm going to ask her to go forward with a cluck and a little leg pressure. Now she responds a little bit sulky, so Kendra's going to get behind her a little with the lunge line and ask her to walk forward. That's kind of a typical first reaction. They don't really know, that's good. They don't really know what the reason why I'm squeezing is for. Good, and she's walking nice now. So I'm gonna ask her to whoa, and I'm going to pull, she heard the whoa and wanted to stop. Next time I'm going to ask her to whoa and pull the reins a little bit and pair that. So here we'll go forward again. Little leg pressure, a little cluck. Good. Nothing on the mouth. I don't want to confuse her. And then I'm going to ask her to stop up here. Hold. Good. And the minute she stops, I let go. And the minute she goes, I let go of the leg pressure too. It's very important that you maintain consistency in what you're asking so the horse, especially at this age, can really understand what you're doing. Right. I'm going to ask her to go a little more forward now. Good. And then I'm going to ask her to halt again. Hold. Good. Notice Kendra's position. She steps in front of the horse, which she knows means to stop, as I pair a little pressure on her mouth and voice. Lots of praise. Praise is good. She understands that this is nice, and the licking is and chewing of the bit is a good sign. So Cherry's been pretty good with everything so far. Feeling kind of comfortable to try trotting for the first time. Before I send her forward into the trot, I'm going to make sure she's okay with me posting at the walk. Make sure she's okay with me moving around a little bit because things are going to get funny. She's got to be pretty okay with all this motion first. And Kendra's not going to have me out on a really big circle at first, so we might only get a few trot steps at first, and that's fine, and bring her back to the walk, whatever the horse is telling us. And I'm going to hang on to the front of either the saddle or the pads and try not to interfere with her mouth with the other hand unless her head goes down, and I'm just going to try to be an accessory and not fall off. Ready? Okay. Good. Good girl. Good. That was pretty good. We can do that again. Good girl. Okay. Here we go. Good. Okay, yeah. Good. And what the handler has to be really careful in this moment is not not getting ahead of the horse's shoulder. So she's got to come at her a little bit more with the whip behind her. There we go. That's it. And now she's proving us that she's not really giving me the feeling that she wants to buck or do anything silly. She's just trying to pay attention, which is good. Good. And a lot of the stopping and starting is her just trying to figure things out a little bit. So Kendra could probably let me out on a little longer line now. I feel comfortable. Try again. Good. Good girl. So now we're going to try a little bit of a bigger circle, and I'm going to start to pair some of my aids with the clock and the whoa and communicate with Kendra with what we want to do ahead of time, so we can try to get her to start correlating the leg pressure with going forward for the walk and the trot, and a little bit of rein pressure for the whoa. Okay, so we're going to get her walk now. So good. Good girl. Trying to keep it nice, loose, if not nothing contact on her mouth, unless I absolutely have to. And then we'll try going up into the trot. Little leg pressure, a little clock. The minute she moves, I take that pressure away. If I feel her start to slow down, I'm going to cluck. Maybe a little leg pressure, and Kendra's going to take that as maybe a touch of whip pressure from the back. Because she may not necessarily see what I'm feeling. Now I'm going to ask her to bring her back to the walk. But she's got to back that up and make her keep walking, because I don't want to halt. Good, good. We ask too many times and she doesn't do anything, we get a little aggressive with the whip. If we ask a couple times and she doesn't go at this stage. But the mare's pretty willing to do what we want, so we don't want to be too aggressive with anything, unless we absolutely have to. We'll go around towards the Ariatic sign, and we'll halt. Oh. Good. Good. And then we'll walk. Oh, well, she anticipated that, so I'm going to make her stand here for a second. Good girl. That's good. Okay. And we're going to go back to the walk. Good. I really like all of my young ones to be okay with me moving around and patting them and touching them. She's getting a little distracted, so we're going to keep trying to get her attention here. And we're going to go back to the trot. Good, that was good. I asked a little bit of leg pressure, and Kendra was there from the ground, and she's starting to understand what that means now. Good, now I'm going to try that walk transition again in a minute, but I don't want her to halt. So my goal is to bring her back from the trot to the walk, and Kendra's going to have to come behind her with the whip a little to make sure she does not halt. That was really good. Good girl. So everything we just did to the left, we want to make sure we do to the right as well. Same stages, taking it slow. We don't want to assume that everything that we just did to the left is going to carry over to the right. I feel like this is a really great place for this horse to have a break now. She's going to go out to the herd, and we'll bring her back in May sometime and reinforce everything that we did up to this point, and then move on to cantering on the lunge line, and then riding at the walk, trot, and canter off the lunge line. I'm a firm believer that if you take this nice and slow and you do all the steps methodically, that you don't have as many issues as if you rush the process. That's all for today. Cherry and I will see you again late spring, early summer for more training progression videos. If you like what you see and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to John Madden Sales YouTube channel.